Hello everyone, I'm really happy to be there together with Fabien to share about BetIQ, which is like a transformative marketing initiatives we run like for the past 5 years together. And I felt like it's the right place to tell this story, given the topic and so on. So today, most of the organization run some form of marketing mix modeling, so MMM in a way, to measure like the impact of marketing, to understand like the insights on the past. But what we see today is also that most of the organization do not know how to use those learnings into concrete decisions. And in a way, that gap, so between great insights and concrete decision making, so reshuffle, budget allocation, and so on, is like the most expensive problem in marketing today, or one of the most at least, because it creates like a gap between the understanding and the ability to, in a way, evolve the way brands are working. And that's concretely the topic we have been trying to solve together for the past 5 years. And so I'm really happy to talk about this today. And so Fabien, maybe just to start, so before going in depth into BetIQ, can you maybe re-explain what was like the starting point?
Okay, I hope everybody can hear because it's very noisy. It's like food time. Okay, get back on the track. So basically, why we started? Well, first we're doing kind of a marketing effectiveness is a long time in L'Oréal. But we know that everyone here, I'm sure in the room, is like we're facing kind of a strong and quick evolution of the markets, the complexity, the difficulties to get all information. I don't say anything about data, which is very complex as well. So we wanted to ensure that how can we ensure that we answer and we support the business to drive marketing effectiveness. By that, I mean deliver more business, more consumer centricity, consumer conquest, accuracy of the information, all the relevant information we can gather and put back to the business. That was the main purpose. And the complexity of the world today, because there's so many touch points, it's more than plus 50, 100 touch points. Human cannot do that. There was media before, so media is quite one of the touch points that is quite easy to manage. But when we go to shopper experience, you go to BAs, or you go to all this stuff that are without data, it's more complex. So that's what we were facing, and we wanted to really build on knowledge, answering at speed and at scale, because we are with more than 60 countries. All we can do is marketing effectiveness. But yes. It's just the starting point. Huh?
Thank you. And at this time, you were already running marketing mix modeling, right?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of MMM, what we call MMM before. We quite do a lot of MMM. The point is that when you do MMM, well, previously, MMM was you go to Eki, you go to Nielsen, you go to whatever, Nielsen IQ, all the stuff. You end up with a presentation, 200 pages, which is very nice. So you have a lot of figures, a lot of KPIs. Just some of the people can answer or can explain to you some of the KPIs we look or the curves of allocation and optimization. But then we wanted to ensure that a business use the MMM. It's not just a pile of pages that you put under the cover to block it. We really want to leverage it, leverage the learnings, and to put it really on the business desk. We all seen many presentations. I'm not a favor of PowerPoint, so obviously that's why. So we wanted to really move from getting MMM once per year, big PowerPoint, that the guys look in 10 minutes, take some KPIs, decide things, and then that's it. We wanted to move and change and go on the evolution of the speed and more concrete stuff.
Yes, I think that should resonate, and I believe lots of people in the room can like recognize this situation where something breaks down between the insights and the decision. And can you try to put your finger on what was like the problem? Why we have like this breakdown between insight and decision?
Okay, start from the process of MMM, because that's also an important one. So the major topic and issue is data. We have a bunch of data the organization of data to make it reliable, usable for a brand is more complex than just getting the data. So what we had to face was, can we move the data tech complexity to the business mindset of marketers? They're not tech experts, they are marketers. That's totally different. The mindset is different. And then we need to go say, how can we harmonize at the worldwide level the approach we have on what we call common currency? Everybody speaks the same language. That's one part. So when we say something, they know exactly what is the touch point, what is the KPIs, what is granularity we're looking for worldwide. So you can imagine more than 60 countries, complex. And then we need to as well link it to financial system to ensure that we track everything. The second complexity was, how can we get the partners, you, also retailers, to support us because they have data in a different way. So we need to harmonize everything together. That's one of the things. Then there's kind of a lot of upskilling of marketers to understand that it's not only more gut feeling evolution. We still have the human, but we're moving into a more augmented marketing person. We give them some insights, some information accurate that they know, they understand, and they can use. Everything they do now is based on fact and figures. So if you have the data correct, if they have the understanding, the harmonization of processes and methodologies, because we cannot have 200 methodologies, it's not working, then you start to have something working.
And so in 2020 also, yes, you decided to launch like BetaIQ, not as an MMM program, not as a measurement program, but more like as a transformative marketing initiatives or program, empowered or powered by MMM. And I think really at this time, the idea was to switch from a concept where measurement tells you what happened to a decision system where you will be able to understand what to do next. So maybe Fabien, you can describe a bit what is BetaIQ like concretely.
Okay, so we developed a system with Ekimetrics called BetaIQ. It's Beauty Engagement Touchpoint IQ. That's what it is. The behind it's like, you have like 60, 70 different touch points. So human cannot manage that. It's how can we use all the knowledge of the MMM, all the knowledge of Ekimetrics to ensure that we understand how we can allocate in a more relevant way all the touch points. Okay, and we go by country, brand, category, subcategory, franchise. So we go very granular and we can tell you what is the best allocation of each touch point in terms of annual budgeting. And by that, you need to have, as I said, a lot of data, knowledge, and you also need to bring what I call, and it takes a lot of time, change management. People has to work with some tools, some information that they are not able before to have. So it's quite new, and you need to bring the decision of allocation with a different stage. And that's the main major topics that we have to face. And we still continue to do that. After 5 years, we still, every time, go to see the marketings, go to see the GM, go to see the sponsor to explain what we do. And also from what happened in 20 and what we are doing now, it's changed a lot because we're also learning from partners, we're learning from countries, we're learning from concrete ways of using it and adapting it and implementing it. I won't disclose everything, but it's... And it gives you, we do a lot of MMM in L'Oréal. We have, as you know, a lot of investment in marketing, in A&P. It's on the press, you can read it. So to optimize it, if you optimize by 1, 2, 3, 10, 20%, it's a lot of money with a big impact in terms of sales. And that's what we're looking at. But the sales is one side. The second side is go to what we call augmented marketing. And the BetaIQ at the beginning was machine learning. Now we're moving a lot with AI. So really leverage a lot of AI, a lot of knowledge, and moving further for the future.
And from my perspective also, like the main switch, as you said, about change and so on, was really to empower like general managers and local teams with concrete moments where BetaIQ empowered the decision making. So during especially budget processes. Can you maybe try to describe concretely a concrete decision moment where BetaIQ empowered the decision?
Okay. So first, I'll come back as well to what I said also previously. In order to make this kind of project, which is very important, you need a sponsorship. The sponsorship of what we're doing today on that is the CEO. Simple as that. We have the CEO of L'Oréal that we see very often. We have all the COMEX members that we see very often because they're behind it. It's their baby. So we are on it and we're working on it, which means that everyone at the country GM, because the country GM at the end taking decision, he really after this kind of allocation of tools. And the decision, in order to make it concrete, you need to have, when you go to a country, you need to have the GM, you need to have the division GM, because we have 4 divisions in L'Oréal. And then you have to have the brand marketing, the brand GM, also the people experts in media, advocacy, shopper experience, CRM, blah, 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 and agencies all together to take a common and harmonized decision. That's why it's a lot of change management. It requires a lot of time because you need to see the people concretely. You cannot do it even if we love Zoom or Teams. You need to see the people concretely and drive them to where we are. And the last point, to make it a success, you need to measure the impact it gives you in terms of incrementality of ROI, incrementality of sales, impact on the people. All of this needs to be measured. So there's a big circle, and then after the circle, we come back again and again and again. It's not a one-shot. Huh?
And maybe like to make it very tangible for the audience, we can like picture a budget meeting and explain how you reiterate using the tool, and it's not like PowerPoint only.
Okay, I agree. I get the point.
Yeah.
It's the tool. We made the tool to be user-friendly, which means that you don't need a PowerPoint anymore. Everything is on the tool and on screen. We just make it live with the GM. So basically, we do the allocation and change of allocation, impact on return on investment, impact on sales, directly inside the tool live. So we do session with GMs, with marketers, and we change directly what's going to happen. And then it tells you, do more, I don't know, PR, advocacy, social, shopper experience, BA. This is, it does live, and then we change some of the cursors or figures. It changes automatically. What is the prediction of ROI? What is the prediction of incremental sales? And that's what we're working on.
Yeah, and I think really what we've seen is that it has really helped to break out this same as last year logic with like all the teams like empowered to test new things also and to bring additional creativity into what they are able to test because they master in a way the baseline of their performance.
Yeah. It's key that people have a tendency everywhere in the world, every company is to replicate what they used to do before. It's easy, they have the knowledge, they know what to do. To make the people think differently and take some bold move, because we had to take some bold moves that were very strong. I won't tell you what it was, but it was a quite heavy, bold move. It has helped them to either do it or justify the thing that they had in mind that they were not either able or, let's say that, have the courage to do it. And they use the tool for that as well, to make some changes for the future. Because it was in their mind, but no one was really say, at the end, when you do a change of bet or allocation, you say, okay, what is it for me? What is the allocation you're going to do, and what added value in terms of incremental business is going to bring? If you cannot provide it, that's going to be complicated to make the change of allocation. Here, we can do it live with the people, and it makes them think about the future.
And L'Oréal is a very large and complex organization, a bit.
Slightly. No.
How did you manage to scale the program, and what is like the key in a way to keep like standardization and in the same time like to answer the local problematics and being like very consistent?
Okay, it's true that we're complex. When you're from outside, it's complex. From inside, L'Oréal is an entrepreneurship spirit company. It's made by human, it's driven by humans, so the human point is major one. You cannot drive any project in L'Oréal without having human behind it. That's why at the beginning I said the CEO is the major sponsorship. It's major. And then we align with the COMEX saying that we just harmonize everything. Otherwise, having 60 different methodologies, 60 different ways of looking at data, whatever, it's impossible to manage. So that's why we went through that level. It's already maybe top-down. But the top-down in L'Oréal works if you convince the people to do it. It's never top down and you don't do anything. No, you need to convince. So there's a lot of human evolution, discussion to take place. And we need, in L'Oréal, is very business mindset. If it brings value to the business, it's easier. If it doesn't bring value, it's difficult to pass the project.
Yeah. And I think it was also key to have this approach where we were able to showcase some value quite quickly. And so to have like this always ability to act short and in the same time like build the foundations. So.
Yeah, the good thing about the tool that we have is that we're working on the short-term return on investment as well as the long-term return on investment. L'Oréal is brands, and we need to build the brand equity, the brand awareness, the consideration. So we're working on the long-term approach, which is major for us. We don't do short-term. Short-term is very nice, okay, we have to do it, but we need to build brand for the future. We hear that since more than 100 years, so we need to last and have brands that last for long. And also, even if the consumers are changing, they still have patents for these brands. So that's why we're doing both sides. And that's fun as well.
Yeah. And let's talk about impact. What has BETiQ actually delivered?
Okay. Apparently, okay, impact. So if you look at the press, because I'm sure you did, so basically L'Oréal is spending 14 billion in A&P. It's quite a big amount of money. Objective that we set up is between 5-10% incremental return on investment in terms of sales. That's what we want to do. We have different KPIs on year 1, year 2, year 3. We have these kind of things. Because you need to realize that when you do have an impact on year 1, it doesn't mean that in year 2 and year 3 it does not have any impact. First of all, the business is changing, more complexity, new bet, touch point, new players coming in. So you need to restart from scratch at the beginning. Plus the strategy, launching of new product is changing. So there's many things coming in. That's why it's not a one shot, and return investment is a never ending story. It's important to have that. So there's a big impact on that, but impact as well on the people. The people, I mean, I was in Italy yesterday for my project, and they were super happy that there was 0 Excel, 0 PowerPoint, everything on the tool on the screen. And they were really keen, say, guys, you're saving my time. No PowerPoint, no Excel, and everything is accurate, robust. They were super happy by that. So it's a change of ways of working as well. I am.
And last question for you, Fabien. What's the next frontier for BETiQ?
Okay, so next frontier, we have a lot of next frontier. Just throw what I want to do in the next 2 years. That's why. So first of all, you need to think that BETiQ is a big machine. It requires knowledge, whatever, so we don't put it in many countries. However, what we've done is we develop a spin-off of BETiQ to cover all the smaller countries to ensure that we can support them in terms of the allocation of funds as well. So it's not as detailed as optimization and everything in details as the big countries, but the smaller one can still do that. That's one part. Evolution, I'm not going to share everything, but it's a never-ending story. We're just thinking about automation, more automation and AI usage, prediction, causal maybe, casualty. There's many things that we want to do. I also want to have more combining, breaking the silos between the MMM, the BETiQ, MMM, all the knowledge that we have inside L'Oréal, all the learnings, we call it global learning agenda, the really details information we have with platform to combine everything in one system to support the marketing people to drive the best allocation and investment, either yearly level, weekly, whatever. So that's what we want to go for. We want to do it quick because we love to do things quick and at scale. Always.
And always with this innovative mindset. And,
yeah. And to make it work as well, maybe it's not very common. We are very lean. The team is very small, on purpose. It's not an army. Okay? We are less than, well, we're 6 people. We're 6 people, fully dedicated to the country, so it's heavy work. It's typical. We're on that. We have a good partner as well to help us on that because we challenge a lot. It's something that's important that I need to mention before the time is out. We put a big emphasis on partnership. Partnership is not like an agency, we ask whatever we want. No, we work hand to hand with the people. We develop things together. We exchange a lot. We say our concerns. We say what's happening as well in the country so they can react to it. So that's what we call partnership. It's we all in the same boat. It's very important to notice that. We have many calls, many discussions. Sometimes we don't agree, I can tell you. Sometimes, but we really believe in it. It's not a simple one-way relationship, not at all. That's the way it is. I mean, but it's fun, to be honest. There will be many things, and we love to work as well on what we call, I don't know if there's an English word, white paper stuff. I don't know you call it in English. We start from scratch. We have an issue, business topics to discuss. We start white paper, and then we see, can we use what we have, or what should we build in order to do it in a very simple, pragmatic, actionable way.
Thank you, Fabien. I think we are at the end of the time and just perfect on time. At Ekimetrics, we have a conviction that enterprise do not need like more figures or more dashboard, but they really need like decision infrastructures, like a way to really empower the organization to make decisions thanks to data and AI. And I think BetaIQ is like a perfect illustration of that conviction. So thank you for having us part of this journey.
Thank you. Thank you.